Hi, this is Tom with Kuat Racks. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble your NV bike rack. Start off here in the box. Here in just a minute we're going to open that thing up, kind of go through the contents, and then I'll show you how to assemble your rack so you can get out on the trail. Okay, so we've got the NV out of the box. I'm going to go over the contents with you just so you kind of know everything that's there, and then we'll start with the installation. With the smaller parts down front, starting over here on your right would be the locking hitch pin. The locking hitch pin also has a dust cap on it. The dust cap's there for a reason. It's there to protect that lock, to keep debris and salt and things like that out of it, keep it functioning properly. You also have a set of keys for your rack. As we keep going, the 20 to 24 inch wheel adapter, that's there for a smaller bike. 4 bolts come with the rack, so you can install the trays to the center beam. Now, one of the bolts comes pre-installed, so you'll only see 3 sitting there. Your Allen wrench for installation, that's going to help you tighten everything down. Then all the way over would be the trail dock and the hardware necessary to adding that on the outside. And of course, right down front, the directions. The directions are also very important, so please follow those. You're watching this video probably because the instructions didn't make sense, or you've lost the directions, or you just like watching me on the videos. So either way, let's get started with installation. Okay, so we're going to start by installing the 2 trays on the back of the center beam. Now, follow the directions when you do this. There's definitely a placement for each one of these trays. The directions are very specific as far as where those trays go. It is possible to install them backwards. So follow those directions very carefully and place the trays in the proper position. We'll start with these 2 closest to that pivot point on the back of the center beam. The front tire scoop with the ratchet arm has that pre-installed bolt. Now that's the one that you're going to start all the way back here. And then of course the corresponding tray that goes with it. So as you bring these up to the center beam, you'll notice that your cable comes through for your cable locks. The cable lock needs to run through that plastic tube that runs through the center beam. Those stay there. They're not part of the packaging, so they need to be with the center beam. So as you bring these both up, it works well to put the bolt in and have the bolt in that one pre-installed, and then we'll go ahead and slide these in and get going from there. Okay, so we have the trays slid up next to the center beam and our bolts all the way through. Now we're going to add the nuts on the end of it. Now on the back side here, there's a shape that mimics the shape of that bolt, or excuse me, the nut. So when you slide that in there, it should seat itself really well up inside of that, which allows you to take your Allen wrench, place in, and go ahead and start to tighten your bolt down. Now as you tighten these, it is important to kind of alternate tightening. You don't want to get one really tight before you get the other one tight. So you kind of draw both of them up next to the center beam and then tighten them down really well. Okay, so now for you shop guys who have some tools in your garage and don't want to use the little Allen wrench that's provided, it's really nice to be able to use an impact drill and an 8mm Allen head on the end of it. It speeds up the process for the installation tremendously. So once you've got the bolts in and you've got the nuts on either side, you can take your impact and draw it down really quick. Just takes out a lot of that work back and forth. And we're on. So we have the back 2 trays installed. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the front 2. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a system for these, or the way they go on. Another way to kind of double check yourself is that in my position, the top left long tray will have that Kuat sticker on the outside of it. So that one's going to go top left if you're standing in my position. So same thing, you're going to allow your cable lock to slide through that plastic tube. Go ahead and slide the bolts in, and we'll start with installation. Okay, so this is what your rack's going to look like. Now we've got all 4 of the trays installed to the center beam. Your next step is to go ahead and add the trail dock to the outside. We'll start by putting the trail dock end cap on there, and then there'll be 4 bolts that'll attach that to it. It's pretty simple. You're also going to need the smaller Allen wrench that comes with it in order to tighten those down. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the trail dock end cap goes on the end of the center beam. There's really only one way this thing can go on. It's kind of hard to mess this one up. But of course the shape matches, and then you've got the 4 holes for the bolts. So lay your trail dock cap right on the outside. Take one of those 4 bolts and start to thread it in. And then take your smaller Allen wrench that comes with it and go ahead and tighten those down. So the last part of your installation is to go ahead and slide your trail dock into the housing. So right on top of your end cap, that hole, you just take your trail dock, slide it right down into the housing. You can even lock that down a little bit. And bam, you've got a Kuat rack ready to rock and roll.